Chapter 3. Message from the Past. Troy and his crew met no more trouble on the long run back to Marineville. 22 hours after leaving the point where they had taken the strange underwater craft in tow, with its mysterious long-dead occupant, they delivered it safely to base. While it was being carefully coaxed through a submarine lock into a pressurized research chamber, Troy and his companions left Stingray in pen number 3 and rose on the seat tubes into the standby lounge at WASP headquarters, and then to the Marineville control tower.
I could sleep on a periscope, but I guess we'll have to report personally to the old man. I reckon he's got a billion questions he wants to ask us.
Got any matchsticks to prop open our eyelids? Oh, shh. Here he comes.
I couldn't understand why none of our patrols spotted that crap before, boys. But I've been doing some figuring. Come over here. Look at this map. That's the location where you found that craft. Notice something?
Well, sir, that seems to be just about the northern limit of the west wind drift in the Pacific.
You're plumb on target, Tempest. As you know, the west wind drift is a cold current that circles the Earth just outside the Antarctic Circle. At 4 points, it's fed by currents from Antarctica. That suggest anything to you boys?
Ice cream.
Hey, what was that?
Icebergs, sir. The icebergs, drifting up on the currents.
Splendid, Lieutenant. There's hope for you still. Go on like that and you might get a promotion yet.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Might was the operative word, Lieutenant. He's probably hit on the truth without knowing it, Troy. Just imagine that craft imprisoned for centuries in the ice somewhere on the seaboard of Antarctica. The annual thaw sets it free in a huge block of ice which drifts north to where you found it. Then the ice melts.
Sounds okay, sir.
Sure it does. Don't have to be an egghead or a brainiac to think that one up. And if that craft was embedded in ice for maybe 3,000 or 4,000 years, that would account for it being so well preserved. That goes for the poor guy inside, too.
Like the mammoths.
What mammoths?
Those they found in Siberia and cut elephant steaks from, Commander.
He didn't get knocked on the head in that scrap you had with Titan's critters, did he, Tempest?
No, sir. I was telling him how they found mammoths frozen in ice. The meat was still fresh enough to cut out an elephant steak.
Guess I remember hearing something about that way back. Well, the parallel's a good one. That guy was in an ice tomb preserved for thousands of years. It's my hunch we're onto something big here, Tempest.
Well, I hope so, sir. But what would a guy like that be doing down in Antarctica, in that craft in the first place? Don't see how he could have drifted there, seeing the currents running the opposite direction.
Maybe the backroom boys can find that out. Guess what that poor guy was writing in that log will make mighty interesting reading if they can decipher it. If it's no known language, they're gonna call in the crypto boys from intelligence. You boys look all tuckered out. Run along and hit the hay for a spell. You're on permanent standby till the science department comes through with a report on that craft.
And then, sir?
That depends on the report. But I've got a notion Stingray will be going places. If that shark Titan's interested enough to try and hijack that craft, could be there's still something worth investigating down there in Antarctica.
As Troy and Phones made their way wearily from the control tower to Troy's apartment overlooking the ocean, Titan was furiously pacing his throne room.
Is there no news of the mechanical fish I sent to capture the strange craft Tempest had found?
No, Almighty One, but the giant octopus...
Yes? What about the octopus? Speak, slave!
It has just returned to its pen.
So, then the slaves must have failed in their task?
Yes, mighty Titan.
Ah, I am served by imbeciles. Go! Curse him. Curse him. Always Troy Tempest escapes. But one day his luck will run out.
Mighty Titan, I have
Don't
news.
tell me, fool. Stingray has just returned to Marineville with a strange craft he salvaged.
Oh, Mighty One, your wisdom is greater
Imbecile!
than...
I know Tempest has returned because my aquamphibians have not. Now listen carefully, slave. You will return to Marineville. You will learn what secrets the Terranian scientists discover in that strange craft, and you will bring them to me. Fail at your peril.
Yes, Mighty One, but...
Where am I?
Welcome back, friends, to Yankee Stadium. The weather is cold, but the players are hot. Captain Troy Tempest for the Marineville Wasps steps up to the pitcher's mound. And who do you think is at the bat? Looks like bats is more appropriate for this octopus.
Batter, swing.
Foul ball, moving at rate 6.
These aren't baseballs. They're submarines.
Ah, at last I have beaten you, Tempest. Soon I will get you too. Tempest, get you, Tempest, get you, Tempest, get
Tempest.
Who's on first? What? It's coming from the video phone.
Get over here fast, Tempest. Phones, too.
Troy and Phone scrambled back to Marineville Control Tower.
Father's in his private office with Professor Fedden. He's excited as a dog with two tails to wag, but don't let him know I said so.
Professor Fredden, the historian? He's chairman of the investigation panel working on that craft we brought in. Have they made a report?
Oh, sakes alive. Oh.
Hi, Tempest. Those backroom boys have come up with something that sure seems to confirm our ice drift theory. Tell 'em, Professor.
Read through that, Captain. It'll put you right in the picture. I'm afraid it's rather disjointed. Our experts weren't able to decipher all the hieroglyphs. Some had faded. We might be able to bring those up later. And at times the poor fellow didn't seem to be writing very clearly. I don't wonder at it.
I, for Rassilon, one of the last of the ancient race of Kronos, write this in the second year of the coming of the ice. It was in the third month when the sun was at its zenith.
And the fruits of our pleasant land were ripening, that the great star fell. It had been a wondrous sight in the heavens for many nights, but when it fell, the people of Kronos hid their faces in terror. Those who did not so were blinded. The great star plunged into the lake of Avernus. For 10 days and nights the waters of the lake boiled, and then for 30 days and nights they steamed. On the 41st night, the first ice appeared. The ocean, girding our island continent, froze. Rain fell, and soon changed to blizzards. Ice covered the land. The people of Kronos, being without vessels in which to flee and locked fast in the ice, perished in their thousands. No food could be grown, no fish could be caught. Kronos perished. I, for Rassilon, was among the few survivors. I had some little knowledge of the sciences. I attributed the evil that had come upon Kronos to the great star that had fallen into the lake of Avernus. Before I perished, I was determined to learn the truth. The waters of the lake alone were not frozen in all that frozen waste. But even in their distress, the people of Kronos feared to approach it, to see if fish still existed there. I decided to use the Poseidon to descend into the lake to find what was there. Never before, even in the days of plenty, had anyone dared to explore it. It was said to be bottomless, and the priests held that it led to the underworld. That is why it was called Avernus. But I, who was doomed, had to see. I conveyed the Poseidon on a wind-driven sledge of my own contrivance to Avernus. I am 3,000
feet down, and I have found no bottom. My instruments register none, but I am not familiar with them, for I am not an underwater scientist. It may be that I read them wrong or have set them ill. The water is getting warmer. All is blackness outside. The light from the lamp that shines forever does not penetrate far into the darkness. But without it, I think I should go mad. I shall not go back.
There was nothing more in the book, Captain Tempest. He must have collapsed or died at that stage.
Before he even found what he was hoping to?
Who knows?
But we know one thing, Professor. That Poseidon, or whatever he calls it, later became icebound, huh?
Yes, Commander. We've made exhaustive tests with all the equipment at our disposal. We can fix the age of that underwater craft, a remarkable invention for such a remote era, as at least 10,000 years. Great Neptune! Neptune's right. That happens to be the old Roman name for Poseidon, who was the Greek god of the ocean. And according to Greek mythology, he was the son of Kronos and brother of Hades, ruler of the underworld.
And the entrance to the underworld was supposed to be a deep lake called Avernus.
How do you know that?
I'm not so dumb. I happened to take the classics in college.
Miss Shore's right. It's very intriguing, this tie-up with Greek mythology.
Sure is, but this fella Rassilon couldn't have been Greek, could he? I guess this continent of Kronos he talks about must have been what we now call Antarctica.
But who knows where myths and legends end and history starts, Captain? Someone may have escaped from this ill-fated land and taken the tale with him. It developed into a myth, and later the people adopted the names of their gods, maybe to explain away mysteries. It's easy enough to see the link-up between a craft called the Poseidon that goes underwater and a god of the ocean. It's significant that the ancient Greek philosophers were the first people known to have put forward a theory that there was such a continent as what we call Antarctica, thousands of years before it was discovered. But I always understood Antarctica had been under ice for millions of years, Professor, not thousands. In spite of what my geologist friends say, can we ever be certain? Even today, we've not been able to do more than scratch the surface of that ice cap. But there's evidence that long ago extensive vegetation must have grown there, semi-tropical vegetation. There are coal seams within a couple of 100 miles of the pole itself. Why shouldn't there have been animal life, even humans?
But how could it change? Kind of sudden, like this guy suggests.
That's not my province, Commander. But a sudden shift on the Earth's axis, even a few degrees, might transform a desert into a Garden of Eden.
And a Garden of Eden into an ice sheet. But it would need terrific force.
A cosmic explosion, perhaps. A wandering star passing close to the solar system. We can't know.
Just one thing, sir. For Rassilon says here, a star fell into the lake. That's impossible, of course. But what do your colleagues reckon it was?
Various theories have been advanced, Captain. One is that the object was a colossal meteorite, such as the one that fell in Siberia at the beginning of the last century and devastated an area 40 miles across. Another is that it was the nucleus of a small comet.
I suppose it couldn't have been a spaceship, Professor?
Heel, the astrophysicist, inclines to that very theory, my boy. He thinks it may have been an interstellar atomic-powered vessel that blew up on entering the lake.
Theories. Facts are what I like to get my teeth into. And there's one thing we are pretty sure about. This guy, who's been dead maybe 10,000 years, maybe longer, goes down in that craft he calls a Poseidon to see what's down this bottomless lake. What happens to him, we don't know. But somehow he finishes up in our time in the South Pacific. How did he get there unless he drifted, huh? Get what I'm driving at, Tempest?
Guess so, Commander. Maybe that lake wasn't bottomless, but had an outlet in the subterranean river, which was too far down to be frozen. So Rassilon's craft was swept along it and finished out in the ocean, where it drifted to the surface and became icebound.
Bang on target, Captain.
It's still only another theory, Commander.
Sure, but it's one we might be able to prove, Professor. Take Stingray down there, Troy. See if you can find where that Poseidon thing could have come out.
Yes, sir. And then?
If it came out, maybe you could get in. And maybe a lot of these other theories that are flying around could be settled one way or another.
The project has my support, of course, Commander. But isn't it rather a tall order for one patrol vessel? Rather like looking for a needle in a haystack. The Antarctic ice cap is about 5 million square miles, as big as the United States and Mexico added together.
Sure, I know my geography, but I also know my oceanography. And Tempest and I have already agreed that there are only 4 currents on which an object that size may be carried north. The 4 main iceberg routes. Guess that scales the search area down.
That's so, Commander.
And here's something that may scale it down even more. In recent months, increased radioactivity has been reported from around here, at the edge of the Antarctic continent, at a point between the longitudes 150 and 170 degrees west, roughly the starting point of one of those 4 currents. Sure, it could just be a coincidence, but I reckon it would be as good a place as any for Captain Tempest to start his search.
Guess so, Commander.
You'll leave it at 100 hours, Tempest. Meanwhile, special polar equipment will be loaded into Stingray. Crew to have leave till then. One thing more. Marina stays behind. I guess the ocean down there will be too cold for her.
Gee, I'm sorry, Marina. Guess it's no use trying to persuade the commander to change his mind. Be seeing you, girls. We've got a few hours to kill before launch stations. Let's do a show or something, with a farewell supper afterwards, huh?
Sure, Troy. That'll be great. Those guys get all the breaks, Marina. I guess we'd both give our right arms to be going with them to Antarctica. Say, what are you smiling about?